What's up, everybody? Run Pure Sports here. We're back for a little MLB rundown. I got my friends with me, Title and DC. A little Thursday action. This is the last off day for a couple teams. Otherwise, we got a decent sized slate here, and more than likely, if not playing today, they have 4 games left. So exciting time for MLB playoffs right around the corner, starting next week. I'm pumped up. How you guys doing? How's been the week so far? What's up, Title? I'll go to you first.
What's up, Joey? Always nice hopping on, talking to you guys. Haven't been on a baseball show in a little while. Season's winding down. This is the last Thursday slate we got. 9 games, which is better than most Thursday slates we've had. Heartbreaking news yesterday as a Brewers fan with Devin Williams being Devin Williams. I mean, man, the Brewers are looking good. I mean, still are looking good with the rotation, the starting pitching. I mean, they were in as good of a spot as they could be in, and then that news just absolutely heartbreaking. But you live and you learn for him, I guess. I'm not going to be one of those fans who just go absolutely crazy at him and stuff. Obviously, he's feeling pain as well. So hopefully the Brewers can still get it done. I doubt we see him, even at the World Series. I still doubt we see him, but probably don't get to the World Series. I'll still be cheering on the Brewers. Playoff baseball is a lot of fun, though. NFL tonight. Good time to be a sports fan, as I always say.
Hell yeah. DC, how was your weekend? Profitable, hopefully, and your week before Thursday? I mean, we're almost into the weekend again, so
yeah. Time flies right now with the end of baseball season. You got football on 2 nights a week, and you just roll right into week 4 already. Crazy stuff for football, but yeah, it's been good. It's been a little bit of a good DFS run for myself. You guys crushed it on that Saturday UFC show, and this show we haven't had Thursday MLB shows since football started. But we do have a 9-game slate tonight. And at first, when I was asked, like, can you cover the Thursday show that we don't normally have, I was like, oh man, that's 1 more hour with Holden that I'm going to have to do. But of course, Holden's not going to come. When he's not scheduled for the normal Thursday MLB show, I should have known he wasn't going to show up. So when I checked the scheduler today, I saw I was with my guys Joey and Title, and it brought a smile to my face. I'm ready to go today.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good stuff. We gotta. When Holden's not on the show, definitely got to slander him a little bit because he does the same for me. So I feel you there, DC. Definitely hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if not yet. We really appreciate that. Maybe we'll keep holding off these baseball shows the rest of the way. Just let them have NFL. Obviously, if you're not subscribed, runpuresports.com. The promo code is RPS Heater 25 for 25% off your first month. Obviously, we have core plays, a full playbook in there where someone write up a playbook for, then I'm pretty sure the night before of, their best plays and go through team by team, game by game situation. Then we have the core plays, which are about 6 different players that are added onto the sheet. There'll be probably about 4 different coordinators, add a couple plays, 6 different players for the core. You just plug that in, you have the remaining salary, you add in your own players, and watch the money build up. That's what I do. All right, so I'm excited. I've been rolling in baseball, definitely on the betting end. I'm up like 17 units in September, so I've been having fun.
Whoa! You're doing so hot that you named the month after yourself.
That's
someone some kind of heater over
there. One of the subscribers said Worktember, and you know what? I digged it, and I just keep rolling with it. So
I like it.
About it, man.
Yeah, I somewhat adopted it, and now we're just going to keep it going. But we do have the first game. We can. You guys want to go game by game? You want to do starting pitching to start? What do you think?
Let's start with pitching.
Yeah, let's start with pitching. All right. So DC, I'll go to you first. Any studs sticking out at you first? You going to go against the Yankees with Robbie Ray? Any interest there? Maybe even in the rivals in the Mets? Maybe a little Rich Hill action. What do you think for pitchers action here?
Yeah, only one. We saw a really, really strong slate of pitching yesterday, so it's no surprise that kind of somewhat limited options, although, most teams kind of running out some of their best guys down the stretch here. But, yeah, Robbie Ray, the only guy over 10K on DraftKings, 10K even for him. It's not often you see, 9-game slate usually get a couple guys up in that price range. He's been awesome closing in on that the AL Cy Young Award. I think a good outing here, anything but a disaster probably kind of gets close to locking that up for him. I expect him to pitch well, but a little bit scary, right? These Yankees are so hot. Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge right in the middle there. So you got to be a little bit worried about that for the highest price pitcher. The Yankees with a team total near 4. I think Ray is a good play. I don't think he's a must. The other guys, at the top of the pricing range, Shane Bieber, not in play for me, right? Just not going to see enough pitches. I think you're hoping for 50 to 60, maybe. So 9,800 is a no. Lance McCullers, I don't love that. His final start of the season, kind of winding it down against a tough Tampa Bay team. So that's a no thanks. Colin McHugh is only going to go 1 or 2 innings. I don't know why he's 9K on DraftKings. Do not play him. That leaves Joe Ryan up there, Twins rookie. He was a big piece they got back for Nelson Cruz. I've been talking him up all of his starts, dominant in the minors, and he's been really, really good for the Twins so far. And I think he's made 4 starts. He's been pretty awesome in all of them. Gets Detroit here at home. I got my Twins jersey on here. I think Joe Ryan gonna do some work here. So yeah, he's absolutely in play for me. I think you can use him as the SP1 if you want to. And then there are a couple cheaper guys that I do like. The Brave, or not cheaper, I guess, but a little bit cheaper. Ian Anderson, 8,400 at home here against the Phillies. A big game between the Braves and Phillies. So I think Ian Anderson's going to be relied on. And then I think you'll see a lot of people, probably including myself, on Rich Hill making a start for the Mets here. Gets the Marlins at home, good pitching weather, and Hill has been good all season and especially recently. So Rich Hill, 7K, does provide a little bit of savings. But, man, beyond those guys, there's not a ton I like. So I think I named, 5 or 6 guys there that I'm interested in. I think in the playbook, which premium subscribers have on the website, I said I don't think I would venture much beyond those 5 or 6 guys. So that's kind of how I see it as far as pitching goes.
Yeah, so we're somewhat locked in here. I have 2 plays on the games you mentioned as well. Both Minnesota and the Mets last home games of the year. So you would think they want to, get a little extra. Hey, we did it. A little extra. They're not nothing to play for, but
a small consolation prize for those 2 teams this season.
Exactly. Make them smile going into the break. But Title, you looking anywhere else for starting pitching wise here?
I'm pretty much lockstep with DC. I think it's pretty narrow. Rich Hill is my SP1. When it comes to point per dollar, he gets the matchup with the Marlins. He's pitching at home. He's been pretty good. Strikeout prop sitting at -5.5 with some juice on the over. So I think he's SP1. Obviously, he might be the lowest in price, but he's who I'm plugging in first. Nick Pivetta is very interesting right there at 7K too. Don't love pitchers in Camden Yards, but he has the win equity. Boston's the clear stack, so I expect him to get the win. I don't think he's going to go 6 innings or anything, but if he goes 5 innings, he's pitching pretty well. Also a strikeout prop at 5.5 with juice on the over. You can play those 2 at 7K and play all the bats in the world. And there are some expensive bats you do want. So don't mind that route. If I am going up, which is in consideration too, Robbie Ray and Joe Ryan. Like DC said, I think Robbie Ray's in a really good spot. 8.5 strikeouts. So the strikeouts are there, as we know. If you're not playing him in some lineups, just say you're making 20 lineups. If you're fading some Robbie Ray, I would get some Stanton and some Judge in those non-Robbie Ray lineups, because the way he doesn't go off, he's going to get the strikeouts. We know that. He's going to let up a couple homers if he doesn't get there. And that's the Stanton and the Judge. Then you get good leverage that way. So I like Robbie Ray a lot. I think you pairing him with Rich Hill makes a lot of sense with the price. But then if you're not playing him, I would make sure to get a couple of Yankees in there. Then Joe Ryan right there at 9.3K too. He's the 4th pitcher. I think him and Robbie Ray are really close. I think I'd lean Robbie Ray a little bit if you have the 700. If not, I wouldn't be worried at all. Just like the strikeout upside a little more. But Joe Ryan's been really, really good. His walks are down. He was a beast in the minors. He's performed in the majors, unlike a guy like Edward Cabrera that's sitting there at 5.6K, which some people might mention. I just can't go here on this slate. I don't think we need the salary. If it was another slate, I wouldn't mind it, but he, unlike Joe Ryan, hasn't looked right in the majors. So I'm keeping my pitching pool to 4 people: Robbie Ray, Joe Ryan, Pivetta, and Rich Hill. And Rich Hill is my favorite for sure.
So we got no Bieber love, huh?
He's just not going to go long enough. I don't think you need it on this slate.
Yeah, I don't think you can really use Bieber here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I am on the Mets first 5, lay the half run. Also on Mets first 5, team total over 2.5. As you mentioned, Cabrera. I know his strikeouts his last 2 games definitely got better, but his strikeout numbers really haven't came over since from the minors as of yet. Watching the eye test, he's looked bad. He's walking people, and he's been getting hit hard.
The stuff is there for Edward Cabrera, but he clearly just doesn't seem ready. I mean, even if you go back to what he was doing at AAA before he got called up, like a lot of strikeouts, but a ton of walks. I think he was between 5 and 6 walks per 9. That's increased as he's gone to the major leagues. I actually think Cabrera, like, you could play him in a tournament. Like, the stuff is good enough. 5,600. I mean, it's not a super intimidating lineup, but I'm with you, Joey. I think the most likely thing is that, he just has a blow up inning, one of those first few, right? And then the Mets team total gets there. Cause it just, even if the strikeouts are there, he walks 3 dudes in a row and you pretty much win the bet, which he does all the time. So yeah, I like that call.
Yeah.
If we didn't have Pivetta and Rich Hill there at 7K, and some cheap bats as always, then he'd be in more consideration for me. Like, point per dollar, he's one of the better plays on the slate.
If I was making a bunch of lineups and not tonight, I would have him in my pool for sure.
Yeah, you just got to reduce your player pool. I always like giving out only a couple, so he would be the 5th just because of the price. But I'm gonna find the money for Hill and Pivetta.
Yeah. All right. Also NBA is right around the corner for everybody. Best ball season has begun. You can use promo code RunPure on Underdog for $25 deposit bonus on your first deposit. Additionally, we do have showdowns going on as well, and obviously the members are crushing the showdowns. We got all the showdown content, access to it from JSU, Tony on the Final Countdown. These are more than likely behind the paywall shows, so you have to be signed up at RunPure Sports. They will be running a free one once a week starting soon. But I'm not exactly sure when that's starting. But essentially, that's paid content that you need to watch right up to lock. So, all right, let's move on. So first game I'm seeing is Toronto or Boston versus Baltimore. Obviously, you guys mentioned Boston. This is another team. Baltimore, last home game of the year. I don't know how much you take into that. But they've been kind of sneaky, as of late. They've been sneaking out games, winning a game a series, and they already took a game out of this series from Baltimore, and now they're playing Toronto, big series against Toronto for Toronto next. You guys had any love in this series? We'll go to DC first. You have any love in this series, in this last game, Boston Bats?
Kind of hard not to, right? I mean, Boston been a little bit underwhelming these last couple of games against Baltimore. 6 runs yesterday, not bad. JD Martinez had a good game, but not what you're looking for, really. Baltimore, it scored 2 runs the game before that. First thing I did when I was looking at the slate is like, how many bad lefty starters does Baltimore have? They just threw out a third one in a row. It's like the same matchup again. They've got the exact same team total. It's exact same weather. And it's like, if you were on them the first 2 games, I mean, what has changed? Really, really nothing. And so I think, I don't know. I think you go back to Boston here with a good amount of confidence, frankly. It's just like Tyler Wells, Alexander Wells, rather, just not any good. We know what the bullpen is. And you got to think Boston gets there in a big way, one of these 3 games. So it would have to be this one, I guess. So, yeah, I've got a lot of interest in Boston. Title, talked about Pivetta. I think he's a solid play. If you're not on him, I do like Cedric Mullins, one of my favorite one-offs on the slate, leading off against Nick Pivetta. I think Cedric Mullins got one more home run in him and a monster breakout season for him. So he would be my play on the Orioles side. But yeah, I mean, if you want to stack Boston, I'm not going to talk you off of that.
Yep, I hear you. Title, what about you? You still like to stack Boston as well?
Yeah, I mean, they're on the road, so they're guaranteed the 9th inning at bats. I always pick on, I love my Coors Field. Camden Yards is my second favorite park. I love the parks. I mean, it's bad lefty. Like, it can't be a much better spot for him. I know Boston's let down a lot in the past, but it's hard not to go back to him. Renfroe, JD, Xander. I don't even mind like a Verdugo lefty, 3.4 Ks in the 7-hole, but I don't know how much Wells is really going to be in this game. If you're stacking Boston, you're expecting them to get to him early, see a lot of bullpen. You'll get a little under-owned Verdugo there. So I like that play as a tournament play. Kiki Hernandez leading off 4-8. Top to bottom, you can play this lineup. Same reason with Devers. Nobody's really going to play Devers. I shouldn't say nobody. He's Devers, but compared to JD and Renfroe and them, lefty at 5.5, people aren't going to play him. And like I said, you're going to get this bullpen pretty early, you think, if you're stacking them. So I like including the lefties in the lineup. For Baltimore, yeah, I'm on Pavetta, so I'm personally not going there. But as DC said, Cedric Mullins is just an absolute. He's one of the better baseball players of this whole year. I mean, the guy just, if you played him every day, he's low owned most days because they have a low team total, and he pretty much always gets there. So I'll never argue with the Cedric Mullins. Think he's a very fine one-off.
Yeah, I hear you there. I really wanted to find a way to get on the Orioles, but I think I've backed off my case here.
One thing I like about Pavetta here, I mean, with this offense going against the Orioles, like there's no way he's gonna like pitch around Mullins to like start the game, right? Like he's getting like Cedric Mullins does it so often to start the game. He gets that first pitch cookie and just bombs it, and like I don't know, I just kind of see that going down here because you got this offense backing you against this horrible team, and I think Mullins will get pitches to hit here. It's kind of unlike like Juan Soto, just never gets anything, but Mullins will continue to get pitches to hit at that leadoff spot.
Every time I turn on the game, he is a leadoff something, leadoff double, leadoff home run. The guy, it's just insane. Always. Like what a story he's been.
Yeah, that is a great call. And he basically, I mean, in most fantasy drafts, year-long fantasy drafts, he basically went undrafted. In my 16-team league, he went undrafted.
That is what a story,
right?
Good for him.
Right, and now he's going to be kept for $4 next year, so good for them. But all right, let's move on. Next game, we got Yankees Toronto. Obviously, Yankees are a little banged up here. They did put Luke Voit on the IL. Joey Gallo's not in the lineup. I think he got hurt yesterday as well. So Sanchez is DHing, and Higashioka is catching. So off the bench, all they have is Tyler Wade and Rugi Odor. That's why Toronto's probably up to almost minus 150 here. Title, I'll go to you first. You have any interest in going against Mr. Kluber?
Yeah, I think Toronto's very, very interesting if you're making multiple lineups too, or if you're playing one lineup in the big contest and want to get different and fade the Boston side and stuff. I'm not a big fan of Corey Kluber, and you get one of the better offenses in Toronto. So I think they make a lot of sense. If you play them, you obviously want the big boys, you want the big bats, and you can play a Pavetta and Rich Hill and then pay up for Vlad, for Simeon. Corey Dickerson's in the 6 hole, has the platoon advantage, 2.8K. I know I literally talk about him probably every time I'm on here just because he's in the middle of the order and he's cheap, but I don't think Corey Kluber is really good. They fall down on my list. Like if I had in a vacuum, ownership doesn't matter and stuff. Like I like the Dodgers more, I like Boston more pretty clearly, but for their ownership and this offense, I think they're a very strong play in tournaments at low ownership. Play the big boys if you're going to play Toronto for sure. I don't love the park, which is another reason holding me back a little bit. But yeah, I have some interest in Toronto if you're making multiple lineups or want to go low own. As far as the Yankees, like I said, it'd only be a little mini stack or something for me. And that's if you don't have Robbie Ray and you're trying to get some leverage. It'd be a Stanton or Judge, one off the home runs that you're looking for. But a little interest in Toronto, 4.7 implied total. I think they're going to be in the single digit ownership wise. And yeah, I think that's you can definitely do a lot worse than that.
I hear you. Yeah. DC, got the same feelings on Toronto and going against Mr. Kluber here?
Yeah, pretty much. I think if I was going to go Toronto, it would be with the full stack, right? Take advantage of all those low ownerships. And Kluber, I think I'm maybe a little tiny bit higher on him than Title is, but still fully capable of blowing up, right? And that's really Toronto's path here. I think if Kluber holds his own through 5 innings, it's going to be hard for Toronto to get there. If they've got 3 runs through 5 innings, you're going to have to face, the heart of the Yankees bullpen. Not that Toronto can't do it against any team, but I would go for the full stack there. You're going to get him super low owned. I mean, Corey Kluber's still a big name that'll hold ownership down. The relatively low team total will hold ownership down. And then the fact that none of these guys have the platoon advantage, right? I think people look for that as well. So you will get, I think, very, very low ownership on Toronto. So if you're going to do it, I just go all in and kind of hope for the best there. And then, Title nailed it on the other side. I think if you're not on Robbie Ray, you don't have to, but a very good strategy would be to grab one of or both of Judge and Stanton, just red hot right now, and like Title said, the way Ray is going to be beat isn't because he's not going to strike anybody out. It's because he's going to give up some home runs. And those guys are by far the 2 most likely guys to do it in that lineup. So it just makes all the sense in the world from a game theory perspective.
Sure. Stanton's been hot. Obviously, Judge has played good all year, but Stanton has been really hot this last month. I think he has 13 homers this last month. I think I in this game I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees pull if Kluber does get hit hard to start. I wouldn't be surprised they go to the bullpen fast and try to win this game out as a bullpen game. They did get Jonathan Loaizaga back. They added another reliever, Joely Rodriguez. I think they brought him back to the majors after they added Luke Voigt to the IL. So they do have some other options in the bullpen. But I agree with you guys there.
I wish the game was in New York. Then I would definitely be. I'd like it a lot more with the park and stuff. But it's still going to go under the radar. I think it still would be more under the radar than it should be. With, I mean, obviously you'd rather play in Yankee Stadium than in Toronto, but I still like it for sure.
Yeah. All right. So next game we got is Tampa Bay, Houston. I think it's Colin McHugh. Then they're going to hand it over to Ryan Yarborough. And for Houston, Lance McCullers. Houston still has not clinched the division. They are their magic number is still 1 with the Mariners continuing to win. So I mean they're trotting out their normal lineup with Altuve, Bregman, Yordan, Gurriel, Kyle Tucker, Carlos Correa, Brantley's back, Jake Myers, and Maldonado.
Yeah, that's pretty much their best lineup they can do, right?
Yep. So DC, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, the Astros remind me a little bit of the Blue Jays, just in terms of a high upside offense with a lot of good hitters and probably pretty low ownership. I don't think a lot of people are going to go there. I mean, I get it. Colin McHugh is going to open this game, pitch 1 or 2 innings. He's been outstanding all year long. You can get to Yarbrough for sure, but if you do, they'll take him out of the game, right? So you don't get to get like all the damage against him. But still, a 5-team total for the Astros, I think – how high they are up in terms of team total won't really be represented in terms of their ownership. So that's always a pretty good way to go. They are expensive, but you can afford them with some decent cheap pitchers today. So I do like the Astros as a sneaky stack. Won't be on my main team or anything. McHugh, not in play. We talked about him. I'm not going to Yarbrough. And then McCullers, I prefer Ryan straight up. I would play Ray over him, and I would go cheaper pitchers over him too. He's not a terrible play, but I'm not doing that. And then, some of the lefties for Tampa, Brandon Lau and Austin Meadows in particular, I think are pretty good plays. But, for me, I think the more interesting side is kind of going full Astros and trying to get some leverage against the field, because I don't think a lot of people are going to go that direction. I think maybe even fewer than go with Toronto would be my guess. I guess we'll see on that, though.
Yeah, I do love that call. That's probably a sneaky good call. Not many people.
Yarborough's been hit hard recently too.
He has, for sure. And then you would think, the Rays are locked into that spot. You would think, maybe they would rest some of their guys. Their best arms probably, they don't have to throw their best arms out of the bullpen.
You're right. They could let Yarbrough kind of take one on the chin here. It's possible.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with you there. Title. You have the same feelings here. You like to go against Mr. Yarbrough. I personally bet against him a lot, and it's been a cash cow. But obviously, from a DFS angle, it's a little different. So, any looks against Mr. Yarbrough from the Houston side here?
Yeah, I don't mind picking on Yarbrough at all. I think DC made a lot of good points, but they're very similar to Toronto. And I think personally that you side with one of them because I do like some Boston. I like the Dodgers later. You can't play everyone. I think it's a very similar spot, but 2 low-owned teams. 2 lineups that you got to pay for some of the bigger bats. So I prefer Toronto. So I'm just going to be off Houston. It's not the scariest because they're going to be low owned, but I think picking on Yarbrough definitely has been a profitable strategy. This lineup's back to their best lineup they could pretty much put out. So it definitely makes sense where DC is coming from. They're going to be low owned, nothing against it. I eliminate teams. I'm just going to eliminate this whole game. I prefer Toronto a little bit, but definitely makes sense.
Got it. All right, so we're going to Citi Field, last home game for the Mets. Edward Cabrera, as we mentioned, a lot of, and Rich Hill. So, TC, you have interest in going against Mr. Cabrera, or are you just going to stay off this game?
Yeah, I think so for sure. He's a guy that I think you can stack against, right? Like this is a situation where you look at the hitting environment in New York. I mean, 60 degrees, wind blowing in. Citi Field's a tough place to hit in. Even in the summer, right, when it's 90 degrees and humid. So that's not ideal. What you're really hoping for if you're going for the Mets is Edward Cabrera just completely implodes, can't throw strikes. You get a whole bunch of walks, maybe a big hit, and he's out of there after an inning or two, right? After 4 walks and 4 earned runs over an inning and 2/3, something like that. Like that's what Edward Cabrera's kind of been doing so far. So in that case, you're going to get all the bad pitchers out of the Miami pen, and maybe the Mets can get there kind of as a stack where they're just piling up base runners, right? You get, I don't know, 20 base runners in this game or something. Edward Cabrera gives up 10 of them in the first 2 innings. So I think that's a path to success for the Mets. I would want at least a couple Mets in my lineup if I'm going there. And then, I mean, Rich Hill on the other side, I think he'll be the most popular pitcher on DraftKings tonight. I think he, deserves to be at his price point. Big favorite, great place to pitch. A lot of strikeouts in that Marlins lineup. Just a lot of, is their whole lineup rookies? Not quite, right? But pretty close to it outside of Miguel Rojas leading off. So a ton of upside for Rich Hill. He's kind of a tough guy to trust as chalk, right? We've seen it bust many, many times. And listen, I won't be shocked if Rich Hill just doesn't have it and it doesn't work out for him. But at least on paper, he kind of clearly the highest point per dollar projection. I think it, you can have any take you want, but I think if you're doing the math, it's got to be Rich Hill number one. I see title, you're nodding your head. You kind of see it the same way.
Definitely. The highest point per dollar is going to be the highest zone, I think. You can always, in baseball, you can always make a leverage stack against.
It doesn't mean he's going to end up the highest point per dollar, but
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We got almost 200 watching, 35 likes. Holden's not here. Hit the damn like button.
35.
What are we doing? Hit the subscribe button. So if you go to the bell notifications, make sure you subscribe so you get all notifications on every time we go live, both on the Run Pure Sports and the Bets channel. So, because there's a lot of live shows.
Thumbs up a vote against Holden, and then we should be 200 out of 200 after a couple minutes.
I hear you. Yeah. Maybe Holden won't come back if we keep getting these likes up. All right.
I wouldn't be so bold insulting him if I thought there was any chance he was watching the show, but there's just no way.
Zero chance. That's why we were asked to do it, all of us probably, because he wasn't going to do it.
Exactly. It's so safe. Yeah, I love going after the people that can't defend themselves.
He doesn't scare me. I'll talk if he's watching. I hope he's watching.
True as well.
Yeah. Screw him. What's up, Noli? What's up, everybody in the chat? Appreciate you guys hanging out. Steve Anthony, Jason Cornell, Izzy. Appreciate you all. Thank you. Hit the like button. All right. Next game we got is Philly Atlanta. Obviously, I think Atlanta. If Atlanta wins tonight, I think it's a wrap. Their magic number's 1. They won 9 of their last 10, coming into this huge series versus the Phillies. Took the first 2 games, and here it is for the sweep and to clinch the division. Cash a lot of our tickets. I know Steve Boynton got them at 7-1. I got them at 3.5 to 1 a little later, but a lot of Run Pure Sports Bets members are all on Atlanta to win the division, so we're looking good there. I'll go to DC first. So you have any interest in going? I know you mentioned you somewhat like Ian Anderson. So you have any interest in the Braves bats?
I do. Yeah, I think the Braves could do some damage here. And credit to the Braves, man. They lose Ronald Acuna mid-season. They're behind in the standings. What do they immediately trade for? 3 outfielders? Duvall, Rosario, Jorge Soler. They acquired all 3 of those guys. They've been pretty good for them down the stretch. And I love the Braves. So I think a good chance here. Listen, Kyle Gibson, he's been a moneymaker for me this season. I just don't see him coming up in a big spot here. And an absolute must-win game for the Phillies going into Atlanta for a team that's red hot. I just don't see it for Gibson tonight. So I think the Braves are going to do some damage early on Kyle Gibson. I think things could unravel for him. The Phillies can't give up in this game, so they kind of have to send out their best possible relievers the whole game. But that's not really anything to fear anyway. So, I think the Braves are a sneaky stack here. I think they'll be maybe even lower owned than the Blue Jays and the Astros. They've been good to us all season long. So yeah, I do like the Braves. And Ian Anderson, he's on the short list for me in terms of pitching. The one thing you don't like is this is the Phillies' best possible lineup, obviously in a do or die game. So there's other pitchers who are facing much less than that tonight. So I guess that's kind of my concern with Anderson, but he's been good. He's a very good pitcher, 8,400. I think he's got strikeout upside. So I don't quite like him as much as Rich Hill, but you'll get him lower owned for sure. So if you want to go that direction, I think that's a pretty decent pivot.
All right. So title, do you like going against Mr. Gibson as well? Do you prefer maybe, get sneaky with the Phillies? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't have any interest in the Phillies, really. Not looking to pick on Ian Anderson. As far as the Braves, I don't mind some of the I mean, they're expensive stack. I think they are going to be lower owned than Toronto, than Houston. If you're playing any of these teams, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. They'll be low owned enough, but they're not going to get played at all because they are still expensive. Freddie Freeman's 5'6", Ozzie Albies 5'2", Austin Riley 5'2". I probably won't be going up and paying for those bets. If I do have any Braves, it'd probably be a Jorge Soler, 4.3K leading off. I think he's underpriced. Eddie Rosario has the platoon advantage. He's 3.4K. Even Duvall, 4.7K. Those three would probably be my favorites. A Duvall Rosario mini stack, I think, makes a lot of sense. Going to be low owned, 5'6". I'm not scared of Gibson either. So I'm not going to be going over 5K for the big bets since I like some of the other spots more, but I'm finding little mini stack in a Rosario, Duvall, even adding Soler in there as well.
All right. Yeah. Jeremy Beckham says the one dislike is Holden. It might be. You're right.
Only if you opened up the YouTube.
Yeah.
He disliked it this morning. Yeah, before you.
Yeah, he's probably in the cloud somewhere. All right. So next game we got is Detroit, Minnesota. As we mentioned, Joe Ryan, a favorite of mine. DC sounds like Title likes him as well. He had 11 strikeouts his last start. He did get hit on a line drive. I want to say 2 starts ago he got hit on his throwing hand on a line drive, but obviously didn't really affect him as he went out last start, pitched 5 innings. I think gave up 2 or 3 earned runs, 11 strikeouts. Now he gets to go against the Detroit team. Last home game of the year for Minnesota. And Skubal going for Detroit. They have limited their starters, especially the young guys. They have been throwing them about 3 innings and just doing a whole bullpen game. They've been doing this a lot of games, and I expect the same here. They're limiting the innings of their young starters. Skubal will probably pitch another 3 innings and hand it off to that bullpen. So I would think Minnesota's bats got to be somewhat, we got to somewhat talk about them. So I'll go to you first, Title, because I know DC's got that jersey on. We'll let him talk afterward. Any interest in the Twins?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I like picking on this Detroit bullpen. The prices are good. Josh Donaldson, 4.4. Mitch Garver, 4K at a weak catcher position in the 3-hole. I think he's a very strong play. Byron Buxton leading off at 4.7. You get Miguel Sano, 3.6. Brent Rooker's in the lineup. He's only 2.3K. I really like this Minnesota spot on both sides. On FanDuel, they're pretty cheap too. Donaldson stands out. Garver's really cheap. He's 3K. Donaldson's 3.2. Buxton's 4K over there. So I think they're in really strong spots. I wouldn't be afraid to go with Sano and Rooker too, a little down the order. Probably 1 through 7 is where I'll cut it off. I'm not really looking to play Luis Arias or Andrelton Simmons really, but other than that, I think this lineup's in play. Even like a Max Kepler, like going back to the Boston point, he's 3.7. It's lefty, but you're not expecting to see Skubal very long. I mean, he's not going to go 5 innings or any of that. So a 1% Max Kepler, and he'll see some righties. I think Minnesota is a very good stack, and one of my favorite. I mean, they go really well with the Toronto or with the Boston because of some of these cheap price tags. So definitely give me Minnesota. I'm not on Detroit though.
All right, DC, you gonna die on this Minnesota hill?
I'm gonna die on this Minnesota hill one last time. I know I've said that a few times on this show, but I'm back for a little more pain and punishment from.
Do they play tomorrow?
For my Minnesota Twins, I got my Byron Buxton
official
jersey on here. I don't get to wear this very often because he's always injured, so I got to take advantage when he's actually playing on the field. But he's been good since coming back. And like Title said, I mean, Title, you're going through this lineup. You listed like 5, 6 guys that you like as if you're just making a cash lineup, like all these guys would be in play, right? And so anytime you have a team with 5 or 6 guys that would be in play for a cash lineup, of course you're going to like the stack. I mean, Tarek Skubal has high strikeout stuff, but like you mentioned, might not be in there too long. And when he gives up, I mean, he's almost like a way, way worse version of Robbie Ray, where it's like, if he gives up runs, it's going to be via the home run, especially against this Twins team who has a ton of power from the right-handed side. I mean, Buxton, Sano, Donaldson, Garver, Polanco's been their best hitter. Like, this is just, I mean, they could do so much damage here. You get into the bullpen. I don't think these guys are going to get pinch hit for. You don't have to worry about that. Hitting weather's decent, right? 75 degrees at Target Field's not a bad night to hit in on a Friday night. So, yeah, I love this Twins lineup. So I'm in on the Twins. I'm in on Joe Ryan, and if it doesn't work out tonight, I'm prepared to close the book on the Minnesota Twins for the rest of the season. I'll do it. I haven't looked at the schedule who they're playing the next 3 days, but this will be the last time that they can hurt me. So I'll embrace the pain and have some drinks. Maybe I'll turn on Thursday Night Football early if it doesn't work out. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. I hear you. So definitely subscribe to Run Pure Sports Podcast on Apple and Google Play. Check out DC's First Look podcast every morning with a guest. If you're not subscribed to that, I don't know. I really don't know what you're doing. Free money. He's, free information, free money the night before. Love it. Morning of. I see someone commenting in the chat said Joey Ward could play casino mobster in any movie. I mean, if you're running movies, Mike, hit me up. I'll play whatever you want. All right. All right. So next game we got Cleveland, Kansas City, Bieber versus Angel Zerba. His first MLB start. He only pitched one game in AAA. Everything else was in AA or high A ball. So he's making a big jump here. And he pitched good in high A ball, but then when he went to AA, he got tattooed in AA. So I don't expect very much out of him. Probably won't pitch that long either. And then Bieber on the other end. Bieber pitched 3 innings in his first start back from the IL. I probably expect him to pitch a little longer, maybe 5 innings. There is a little slight chance of rain, 25% chance of rain here. But I'll go to DC first here. Any interest in going against Mr. Angel Zerba?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've seen these Royals pitchers when they've come up, they've all gotten shelled. They're all these lefties. Daniel Lynch. There was there's at least one more crappy lefty for the Royals that they've called up. His name escapes me at the moment. But I mean, yeah, this guy has been rocked in the upper minor leagues. Like you give him a cup of coffee in the big leagues, see what you got. But probably not going to go super well. And the Indians do have, some right-handed power at the top of their lineup. Right-handed power and speed. Straw, Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, I think is a pretty interesting top 4 to go against a rookie lefty who is likely not ready, right, to start at the big league level. So you don't like the park in Kansas City. I get that. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Indians tagged this guy early and put up 4 or 5 runs in the first few innings, get into that bullpen, and maybe do some more damage late. So Indians make a lot of sense. We talked about Bieber. I think he'll pitch well here. Try to build a little momentum going into 2022, but not playable given, I think 5 innings, you'll have to pitch really, really well and be efficient to get to 5 innings, in my opinion. So I'm not going there. And then the Royals bats, I mean, I just don't see Salvador Perez always in play.
Yeah.
He's just an absolute monster. But beyond that, I don't see going to Royals bats.
Yeah, I hear you. I have an official play on the Run Pure Bet spreadsheet, and it is Cleveland Indians first 5. Lay the half run, minus 110. Yeah.
What is the line on that?
Minus 110 via BetMGM when I gave it out.
I'm assuming it's different than that now.
It probably is a little bit, but I mean, the money lines are still at minus 150. So I'm thinking some people are just hesitant on how long Bieber's going to pitch. So that's probably where Kansas City is getting some money. And the Kansas City has actually been, their bats have been somewhat hot as of late.
I gotta go jump on that bet now, see what I can find.
Yeah. So, Title, you have the same thoughts here? You don't like picking against Mr. Zerba and going with Cleveland's bats here?
Well, first, I find it funny when DC's, you're in a bad situation as a Royals fan for pitching. When DC brings up, he blanked on the pitcher that they couldn't think of. And the next 3 answers were 3 different pitchers in Cowher, Bubic, and Singer. So, yeah, I mean, that just shows they're in a bad spot, definitely for pitching. Not sure which one you were thinking of. Was it Cowher, Bubic, or Singer, DC?
I think Bubic, but yeah, I mean, all these guys, they just come up and they've had some good outings, but for the most part, these guys have just been awful. So
yeah.
This is apparently the worst of them, by both that he's the last one up and that his numbers are the worst at the minor league. So you kind of have to assume he's going to suck. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, so what? A 2% Jose Ramirez sounds pretty tasty, I think.
Yeah, no Mid Rosario either.
Yeah, no Rosario. I mean, we got Bradley Zimmer, who's 2.4K in the 2-hole. I know it's lefty, but I don't expect to see him too much. Like, if you want to go Robbie Ray, you want to go a Jose Ramirez, you can go Jose Ramirez, Bradley Zimmer, mini stack right there with the cheap price tag. No one's going to be on Jose Ramirez. We know he's one of the best players in baseball. I think that makes a lot of sense. Roberto Perez, if you just want a full punt catcher today, which I really like Garver for his price tag, but if you just want to take the discount and just punt it completely, he's 2.1K in the 7-hole. I think Cleveland's going to be low owned. I don't think Zerpa's any good. People are asking if there's any weather concerns on the slate today. This is the one game there is a slight possibility for delay. We're not playing Beaver. We're not playing the Zerpa guy. So it's not a big deal for us. Bats are fine, but somebody was asking about it. Yeah, Franmil Reyes on FanDuel. He's only 3.4K. I think that's a misprice over there. Wouldn't be surprised to see him hit a bomb at all. So I think a couple of pieces are in play for Cleveland. I'm not going to full stack it, but I really like the Bradley Zimmer and Jose Ramirez mini stack because it doesn't break the bank when you put Zimmer with him, and no one's going to play Jose Ramirez. And I have no interest on Kansas City.
Yeah. All right. I love it there. Yeah, so now next game we have is Bumgarner going against the Giants and looking like Scott Kazmir, more than likely a bullpen game for the Giants. Obviously, they're 2 games up still on the Dodgers, so with 4 to play. So, every game really means something. They only won, I think it was 1-0 last night. I know Bumgarner pitching against his old team, but he did buy tickets, a lot of tickets here to bring his family for the whole series, bought a lot of tickets. And I was reading some things saying, they rather San Francisco win the division than the Dodgers. So they made somewhat, obviously Bumgarner, you don't think he's going to go out there and try to get shelled. You think he'll try to pitch good, but the moves by the coach, maybe the rest of the way to try to throw the rest of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens, but DC, you have any interest in either team's bats here?
That would be an interesting strategy by Bumgarner to get his whole family there for the game and then just purposely get rocked.
Well, I don't know who's at the game if it's whole family, but I know he bought a hell of tickets.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not playing Bumgarner. I did look at him. I mean, 6,300 in a return game. Maybe there's something there. He hasn't been that bad this season, but not going there in the end. Kazmir, he's not going to go long enough in this game. I don't think to really be in play. I wouldn't expect him to pitch super well anyway. He's like 58, 9 years old. So he's like up there in Uncle T range is Scott Kazmir. So I wouldn't go in that direction. If you want to play, Buster Posey, I think is a pretty good play against Bumgarner. I don't know what the BVP is there, but he caught him for 10 years. I mean, talk about knowing how a pitcher thinks and how his pitches move. I mean, Buster Posey couldn't have any better grasp than that, and he gets against the lefty, and he's been solid lately. So I do like him at catcher, but this game mostly a big old fade for me.
Yeah, Posey has 0 official at bats versus Bumgarner, so this be essentially
right. But I mean, come on, he's got to have a good shot here.
Yeah, for sure. Title, do you have any interest going against Mr. Bumgarner here?
The problem is we don't have the lineup right now, which I usually like because the later the lineup is, the lower the ownership. But man, I'm scared about these Giants and the pinch hit risk once Bumgarner is pulled. I think the 2 that are going to be fine is Chris Bryant and Posey. But I love a Wilmer Flores against a lefty at 2.9K, but he could only get 2 at bats and get pulled, and I don't want that on this slate. So I like Boston. I like the Dodgers. We're going to get to. I like Toronto. I like mixing a little Cleveland and Minnesota. So I just can't play everyone. I think it's a fine spot. I wouldn't be surprised if they get to Bumgarner at all. But with the pinch hit risk, with some other good spots on the slate, I'm just going to cross off this game mainly. I'm fine if you want to one-off something, but I like Garver over Posey at the catcher position, and
me too.
I'm not paying for the Bryant, so I'm just going to cross it off. But the Giants are in a fine spot. It's more about the pinch hit risk. I'm just not going to mess with.
Yeah. All right. I hear you there. So last game, we got Padres, Dodgers again. Dodgers came back to win last night in a nice little game. A lot of runs scored. Now we got Vince Velasquez, who got cut by the Phillies. The Padres said, hey, we don't have any starters. You want to come pitch over here? And he's been starting ever since. Not doing very well. I mean, he started the season actually pretty decent for the Padres, and now he's just been getting shelled every time.
Vince Velasquez has been a DFS tease for 6 years.
Yeah. And then Gosselin on the other end. So, DC, you have any interest in taking the Dodgers going against this, I guess, Velasquez and Padres bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers erupted last night. Was it the 8th inning? I think they just went absolutely nuts. I didn't see it, but I saw the highlights. Now they got Vince Velasquez, a beat-up bullpen, and just a depressed team, right? I mean, the Padres are ready to go home. What a disappointing season for them. Obviously, you get the MVP caliber season from Tatis. You get, Manny Machado had a pretty good year, and it just didn't work for him. I think they're 2 games under 500 in the last 50 games or something like that. Something crazy.
They're 2 games under 500 on the year.
Then you just had kind of I feel like last night was kind of like the nail in the coffin. Like they were done before this, but just like, okay, we're freaking done. Like I'm just ready to go on vacation. And listen, if that's the case, I mean, the Dodgers could do it again. I think they kind of take a little pride in burying this team, right? Bury them as deep as you can to end the season, get some momentum going into the playoffs. So I like the Dodgers a lot. I like them last night. I think they're going to do damage here. One of the higher team totals on the slate. And they're not going to be low owned, but we don't have a lineup yet, but whatever it is. I mean, these guys are super expensive. The projected
Dodgers lineup's out. Betts,
okay.
Seager, Turner, Muncy, Will Smith, Turner, Justin Turner, Pollock, Bellinger, and Gosselin.
Okay, so they're rolling out, their A-plus lineup, right? That kind of tells you a little something about their intentions for this game. Obviously, they're battling with the Giants still, so they need to win this game. But yeah, give me the Dodgers stack, and I think you can play these guys as one-offs for sure. They're all up near the in my opinion, the kind of the upper echelon at each of their individual positions. But I like the stack. I mean, this team is one I think that kind of feeds off each other, right? When this team gets rolling, they're taking walks, they're getting hits, and you can kind of feel it with the Dodgers. Like, oh, this team's about to erupt. So I do like, if you're going here, if you're paying up for all these guys, I kind of like going for the full stack. And you're going to have to go two cheaper pitchers. Like, you're going to have to use Rich Hill, and maybe you use a Edward Cabrera, something like that. So I'm in on the Dodgers. No interest at all in the Padres. Complete pass for me.
All right. People are telling me that I messed up. Pollock is in instead of Taylor, or Taylor's in instead of Pollock. All right. Well,
I see Taylor, but I didn't even notice you said that.
Sorry, guys. I made a mistake. Title. So you have any interest in these Padres, or
no.
We're just throwing them out?
Yeah, I think, yesterday, I think was the nail in the coffin for the Padres. They want to pack it up, depleted bullpen. Vince Velasquez, he gives up home runs like no tomorrow. I mean, hit the alt run line on the Dodgers.
I like that a lot, actually.
3, 4, 5. Like, I think this is going to be a beatdown. I mean, and I agree.
This could be a good one for the same game parlay. Give me like over 1.5 hits for like Seager, Betts.
Do everything
Trey
with
Turner,
this game.
just racking up hits against these guys.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Even Cody Bellinger went deep yesterday when it mattered. I mean, this team's rallying around each other. They're getting ready. They're having fun. It looks like this lineup's finally starting to play. I mean, they got their best lineup out there too, all their studs. I think the Dodgers absolutely roll. I'm not scared of Velasquez. Padres bullpen's in shambles. I think it's Dodgers, but whatever they want. They're by far my second favorite stack. I like Boston, but if the ownership, I think Boston's definitely going to be the chalk. Some of these guys like Trey Turner, 5'4" at second base. I think he's going to get some ownership too and stuff. But I think the Boston side's definitely going to be a little more popular. I like full stack in this Dodgers team, the late night hammer, and I think Dodgers by whatever. So no Padres for me. Give me the Dodgers. You can go to Cody Bellinger at 3.3K, Chris Taylor at 3.8, do a little wraparound stack. I think you can stack this order however you want. The one I'd probably leave off is Justin Turner. He's 4.9K. He's in the 6 hole. I can do something better at third base, I think. So that's the only one. But I mean, would I be surprised if he goes deep? No, that's just the one I'd leave off.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, the Dodgers official Twitter sent out AJ Pollock too. So I don't know where K-Fleek's getting this information, but
you might be right. Fantasy Labs had it as I thought I saw as Taylor, but
Pollock is in the lineup. Yeah. So K-Fleek. Yep. Can you ban him for 15 minutes or give him block him for a little bit? Coming in here wild, saying like 4 messages in a row. That's not the lineup, Joey.
15
Taylor,
months for K-Fleek. I'm sick of that guy.
Joey works always right. Wow. Attaboy, Joey.
This guy coming in here, barking, and he's not even on
your
the right
show.
side.
You're the host, and he's trying to tell you you're wrong. Listen, if you're going to tell someone they're wrong when they're the host of a show, you better be damn well you're right. Come on, K-Fleek, get it together.
True. All right, so let's just talk through both of your top 3 stacks. Then we'll do some one-offs and plays of the day. I'll go to title first. What's your top 3 stacks for tonight?
I'm going to go Dodgers over Boston with the ownership in it. Dodgers, Boston, and then I need some cheap ones, so I'm going to say Minnesota.
Okay. DC?
Yeah, pretty much exactly what I have. I listed Twins number 1. That's taking into account the price tags, right? I mean, the price tags for the Twins versus the Dodgers are just way, way lower. So I've got the Twins as my main team. I listed Dodgers second, Red Sox third. So me and Tyler, same top three teams there. Good to be on the same page as Mr. Town. And the Braves were fourth for me. I assume that's the first time anyone's called you Mr. Town.
Yeah, I was gonna say
probably
Mr.
the gin
Town.
and tonic to my right can make me a little loose at the end of the show.
I kind of like that though. Yeah, I like.
No,
that
it was funny how you said it once, but no, Mr. Town is not.
No?
I'd laugh
Not gonna
every
fly.
time.
Okay.
I'd laugh every time I hear that. I couldn't take it seriously, but hey, that was funny.
All right. So title, any one-offs that you like? I know.
Yeah.
Matt Moore just after a cheap one-off for tonight.
Yeah, so cheap one-offs. I think Bradley Zimmer. No one's gonna play him. I don't think lefty. He's 2.4K, and then Brent Rooker down there too for the Twins. I think they're two very cheap one-offs. And then if you want a full punt catcher, like I said, Roberto Perez 2.1K. If Garver, because I like Garver, I like Will Smith, but if those two don't get there, you'll want to save salary and full punted. So I don't mind Roberto Perez. Those are my three favorite one-offs.
Okay. DC, any cheap one-offs that you like?
Yeah, I'll list my, not necessarily cheap, but just my 5 favorite one-offs tonight. The 2 Yankees, I'll rank them Giancarlo over Judge, but I think just in terms of leverage and what they can do for you in the lineup against Robbie Ray, low ownership, all that stuff, Stan Judge near the top for me. Cedric Mullins near the top against another popular pitcher in Nick Pivetta. Buster Posey, I think, is legitimately one of the top catchers on the slate. I think you'll get him low owned and, maybe diving too much into the narrative street, whatever. But I personally like the matchup for him against Madison Bumgarner. And then Jose Ramirez against Angel Zerpa. You'll get him very low owned. He's playing hard to the finish, Ryan, right? A disappointing season for the Indians, but Jose Ramirez doing his thing to finish it out. And I kind of like that Indians team as a sneaky stack as well.
Awesome stuff. All right. So let's just get into our plays of the day. We'll go to Titletown first. I think it's the SO play of the day, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, you're right.
All right. So what's the SO play of the day?
Give me AJ Pollock, Joey. I love this Dodgers team. There's a little mix up, and K Fallick got to shove in K Fallick's face a little bit,
even though
I was on his side. But yeah, get a little cheaper exposure. Joey work when something like this happens.
Sometimes you just got to take the sign. You don't try to fight it. You just take it. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is a little sign for a team I already love, and it's not breaking the bank. So AJ Pollock, he's gonna go off.
Love it. All right, DC, Mr. Mom's Basement play today. What do you got for us?
Yeah, hopefully this man can hit his way out of the basement for me. Mr. Byron Buxton. I got to go with the guy on the back of the jersey coming through in a big way. Byron Buxton, my play of the day. I will say too, we talked a little bit about that first 5 innings Indians bet, and I'm not sure if it's, Joey Work, you're the pro at this. You've got them -110 in the first 5. Bieber over the Royal Zerpa. On DraftKings, though, where I know a lot of people that watch this kind of have, if you play DFS, it's legal in your state, you can get a -120 still, which I think is still a very good bet. I just bet that myself. So just wanted to mention that before we get out of here.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. So, definitely shop around if you're betting MLB because there's different lines all over. That's for sure. Any last words before we get out of here, before it's lock? It's coming up soon.
Looks like not baseball, but football. Looks like Carlos Hyde is inactive, according to Steve Anthony and Chad. So that's big news for the Showdown game. Make sure to check out the videos in Discord. I posted my core tonight for for the Showdown slate as well. Gonna be watching some MLB and NFL. Can't go wrong with that. But big news, Carlos Hyde inactive. So definitely make sure to monitor your lineups and make some changes.
Yeah, it's a good point. If you want to sign up, RPS Heater is the promo code we're running right now. And you could sign up for the monthly Elite or Elite Plus bets option. So you get the bet side as well, and you get 25% off your first membership. And it's only works for monthly.
Do sign up for the bet side if you're signing up. Tail Joey one day and you paid for it for the year. So
if you like money, sign up for the bets.
That's right. So DC, any parting words before we get out of here?
No, not really. Should be a fun night of sports. You know, I love this type of year, end of the baseball season. We got Thursday night football. We've got playoff baseball coming up, and we got the NBA coming up in like 2 weeks. Title
crazy. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. No rest for the weary over here.
You're not excited. It doesn't sound.
No. I'm definitely excited, but I gotta admit, I have not dove deep into the NBA streets quite yet. But at the end of once baseball ends, I'll be in there and we'll be ready to go for NBA, which I think you could argue that's our best sport, right? As a group. So
yeah, I'd probably say I'd probably it's my favorite DFS. I'd say.
Yep.
All right. Well, awesome stuff today. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Thanks, everybody. Make sure to hit the like button before you get out of here. Like, we got 72 likes, almost had 200 watching, 72 likes, so not even half the people like the damn video. Kevin Falik, hit the like button, please. We appreciate everybody. Otherwise, the team will be back later. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed so you get notifications every time we go live. Appreciate everybody. Joey Work from Joey Work DC title. Simon, get us out of here.
Good luck, everybody.